What's up, everyone, and welcome to episode 27 of the Infinity Flux Letters page. I'm Matt.
I'm Andy.
This is our bi-weekly live show where we just sort of talk about whatever we want to talk about in the world of comic books. We do these on New Comic Book Day. It's kind of like the digital equivalent of hanging out with your buddies in the comic shop on New Comic Book Day. And thanks for being here with us. Welcome back, Andy.
Yeah.
Andy was gone for a while.
I wasn't. I didn't miss any live shows,
right?
But between them, I was gone.
But you missed Monday, and that was challenging.
Yeah. The Monday shows alone are when you have two people's worth of stuff piled on top of you.
Yeah, it's a lot. The dynamic duo is back. That's right. Batman, Robin. Actually, you know what?
Nightwing.
Yeah, I mean, like that's not a bad thing, you know. No. Robin, my son and I talk about Batman and Robin. He says, "Okay, I'm Batman." I'm like, "Okay, I'll be Robin. That's fine. I like Robin. I'll be Tim Drake Robin, or maybe I'll be Dick Grayson, like you said.
Maybe I'll be
Nightwing.
Damien and yell at you.
Oh my gosh, that would be great.
I'll back talk.
I'll be Stephanie Brown, Robin.
Ooh, my favorite.
All right, so we want to start off the same way we do every week, and we want to talk about our picks of the week. Do you have one yet? I know you've read some books already.
I read
because you just got back.
I just got back yesterday, and so I came into work today, and just not long before we did our first video, I was able to read a couple of books. So if I was going to pick my pick of the week,
from the ones you've read so far,
just from the ones I've read.
What's up? Name of Lewis on Instagram. I should have mentioned too, we are live on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok over here on the side. So hello everybody who is joining us.
It's a toss-up for me. It's either between Fantastic Four #2 or Bug Wars #6, because this was a very epic conclusion to the first volume of this. So I also really enjoyed Aquaman. It set up some really crazy stuff that I don't know where it's going. That was really cool. I didn't read much, but everything I read, I really enjoyed. Ultimates was awesome.
Yeah, it's a strong week for sure. My pick of the week is Superman: The Kryptonite Spectrum, which you have already read that one too.
Yeah, I almost don't. I didn't remember that came out this week because I read it a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, that one is really cool and such a fun, different flavor, but still using Superman, a familiar character.
Yeah, that I really like that. Just how it felt weird, but in a good way. And then so after that, my #2 is Predator Kills the Marvel Universe, just because it's not connected to anything, and it shows in that first issue. You'll see that this definitely is not in continuity. But I like stories that aren't in continuity, because then you never know what's going to happen. And then after that is Ultimates 15, just because that was awesome. But there's some great action. That first half of the book, the story in that first half is really cool.
Yeah,
it's going to lead to some cool things.
I really liked in the Superman issue the weird Superman robots that are just his logo with arms and legs walking around. Just love the visuals of that, of those characters.
Yeah, it definitely felt Silver Agey with the different. I had several questions on my own videos about, are we going to see pink kryptonite? I'm like, no, this is kryptonite that we haven't seen before. These are all brand new forms of kryptonite.
They even talk about that of like, hey, I know these kryptonites, but these new ones showed up, and it's going to be a fun, like monster of the week, but where he's the monster.
He's the monster,
the thing that changes about Superman?
Yeah, and I love, Batman's reaction was, you need to destroy these, and Superman's like, what? We got to find out what they do. No, you got to destroy them now. There's no telling what they could do, and I can actually see it from both sides. I thought that was I
love bringing Batman into it too. I didn't initially think that we'd see him, but he's a great science. Like, I'm on the outside. I'm gonna observe. I know what to do if something goes wrong. I thought that was a really nice addition.
I thought maybe he could have pulled in like Mr. Terrific or somebody like extra sciencey, but I guess Batman covers all the different facets of doing that kind of stuff. All right, so we had just the one question that we wanted to talk about. Our buddy Larry Smith left a question on our Monday video, the most recent video we had. It just says, asking Andy if he could explain how the 1 in 100 or 1 in 50 1 in 50 ratio books work in a comic store. If 5 customers want a 1 in 100, does the store have to order 500 copies of the regular cover? And
yeah. So I do really like this question for the doors it opens, because this is a thing that I feel like is talked about a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to say by a bunch of people who don't know what they're talking about, but it's a thing that I don't feel like a lot of people completely understand how ratios work. So I do all the ordering for the store for the new comics that are released. I don't do as much of the ordering for like graphic novels and stuff, but for all the stuff when we cover them on our Comics from the Future show, all that stuff is the stuff that I order
every Monday. That's most of your Monday.
That's my Mondays. And actually, that's the funny thing. I love doing it. I think it's so much fun doing the ordering and going through all the covers and it requires me to look at the numbers of like, okay, this many people subscribe to this many people special ordered this, but how do I feel about this book? Do I feel like more people are going to want this? Is this a big deal? It really is a specialized thing. And I think that's why I like it. I feel like my knowledge is put to use when I do that. But one of the things that comes up with that is people will pre-order at infinityflux.net. Thank you. They'll want a 1 in 50 or 1 in 100 or 1 in 10 or 1 in 20.
There's the website right there, by the way.
Yeah. There's all the ratios, even 1 in 3s and crazy things. So yeah, that does mean to receive one singular copy of this cover for the book. If it is 1 in 25, that means to receive one of that cover, you have to order 25 of the other one. There are things that are called like unlockable variants. Some of those will say, if you order 10 of this book, you can order as many of this cover as you want. But for the most part, from what we're talking about, and the average thing is that idea of I order X number to receive one of these other covers.
But it doesn't have to be a certain number of just the A cover.
Not always.
The open or
there has been weird occurrences where they'll say, it will tell you what's applicable. It'll say covers A through D are the ones. Sometimes like Boom will have like a special like Boom 20th anniversary cover or something like that. Sometimes those are excluded from it, or sometimes maybe foil covers are excluded from it.
Tyler?
Hey, Tyler. Tyler knows. I learned all of this because of Tyler, and now I am telling the information back to him like he doesn't know what it is. But so what I hear a lot of people saying, though, is stores have to order this.
Right.
They have to order the 1 in 100. They have to order the 1 in 25. That is not true. You do not have to order. You don't have to order whatever you don't want to order.
Yeah.
Like, it's if someone, say, went on our website, they said, I want to get this 1 in 25, we do have to look at how many people are subscribed to it. And then, how much more do we need to order to reach this number? That will dictate the price, because we kind of have to cover all of that. You're not necessarily, I'm ordering this, and so all the other copies are free. It's not like that. It's usually kind of a ratio thing in pricing as well. But we'll figure out that. We'll give them the price, and if they accept it, then we order that cover for them. Now, there's times where, and especially with books like Dynamite, who have so many covers, they have 1 in 5s, 1 in 7s.
1 in 7s, yeah. They have weird ratios.
They go for weird numbers. Yeah. If we got all of the ones that were offered, we'd end up with a lot of books that we couldn't necessarily sell. Right. We don't want to just be chock full of comics that won't sell. I choose not to order some of those. I find the ones I think look cool, or I think people will like, or artists that I think are popular. I'll order those, but I don't order all of them. And so when people say, stores are forced to order this, they don't have to order whatever. Like, if there's, a 1 in 100 for Batman, but we only have 75 people subscribed. I don't know off the top of my head how many people we really do have subscribed. We don't have to up our orders to get that 1 in 100 if we don't want to. So whenever you see people talk about, stores are forced to order. Because I know we've seen that in comments and random stuff, and it's like that's just not true.
There's a lot of bad information out there, mostly from bad actors who say that there's a lot of conversation out there that variant covers are a scam.
Yeah,
and that incentive covers are a scam because they force shops to order 100 copies of a book they don't want just to get one cover. That's not true. It's no different than a grocery store having a whole bunch of different varieties of Doritos. I always make food analogies for some reason, but you walk into a grocery store and there's a whole bunch of different varieties of Doritos. Well, with variant covers, there's a whole bunch of different covers you can pick from, and you just get the ones you want. So it's not a scam because stores aren't forced to order anything.
Yeah.
If they want, some like we there's a lot of 1 in 100 covers that we don't get.
Yeah,
because we just simply don't order 100 copies.
It doesn't make financial sense. It doesn't make logical sense, so we don't order them.
Ooh, this is hey, what's up, Frag Monkey? If a customer asks for and pays for a 1 in 100 on an unpopular title, what do you do with all the extras?
We just have extras.
Yeah.
Maybe we will, try hand sell them. Maybe if it's a book we like, but it's just not getting a lot of press or whatever, we'll try to hand sell it. It may sit on the shelf. Maybe it'll end up in our dollar box, something like that. But it's, we're not really out, all that extra money because it does work out in the end. Well, but if it is an unpopular title, like we don't say they want a 1 in 100, we have 5 people, it's going to be more expensive for us to get that 1 in 100.
You're going to adjust the price to offset the cost of okay, we'll order 100 copies. We're probably not going to sell very many of them.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have to make that 1 in 100 more expensive to offset the cost of all these other books that we're not going to sell.
Right. So that's usually why maybe, and you'll see it like with Battle Beast. So many stores and so many, we ordered a ton. So that made the ratios go down in price quite a bit because they were abundant. We easily got them, so they end up being cheaper. So you can see that stuff like a Batman or something like that will be a little bit lower, but there is a cap on that number as well. Like there is a ratio we have figured out that basically says it's not going to be more expensive than this. It can only go down from here.
Right.
And that's also, we don't price something higher because we think it's going to be more popular. If you pre-order it at that time, I gave the analogy of the Tama that came out recently. I love those covers that look like Pokemon games. I pre-ordered the 1 in 10, which I think I paid $14 for. When the book came out, it was selling for $50 for that cover. Well, they didn't price it. They didn't price it initially because they thought, well, that's going to be a hot one. No, that just made the most sense for that price, for that ratio. And it just turned out that, I picked a good one. So that is something that can happen that's very, very cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So just, if you hear that, and you probably will, especially if you watch a lot of comic book YouTube channels, you're probably here at some point that variants are a scam and ratios are a scam, but they're not, because shops have complete free will to order anything that they want and order and not order anything they don't want.
Yeah, I know we talked about it on a long time show ago. I don't even know if you were on it or what it was, but it was someone was saying well, stores have to order a minimum. Stores don't have to order a minimum. No. Now that is speaking for a US based store. I think from what I think I heard from a store maybe in Australia that there is for smaller publishers a minimum because it doesn't make financial sense with shipping to only do one book at a time. I guess if you wanted to pay for it, but I think they did those more in bundles. But for us, we can order 1 copy of a thing. We can order 500 copies, 1,000 copies of something. It doesn't matter. So to say that stores have to order variants, they don't have to order variants. We only order, mostly is up to me of that's a cool cover. We've got 1 person who wants it. I'm going to order 2 more. So that makes 3 of that copy of that cover. And it's as simple as that. There's no prerequisites. There's no for the open order variant covers like cover B and C's.
Yeah, and I want to, Tyler, you have to order Cool Ranch Doritos because it's a sin if you don't. Cool Ranch Doritos are the best Doritos. go ahead and at me if you want. I can argue that till I'm blue in the face. They are the superior flavor of Doritos. But Frag Monkey says, what about ordering an entire series at once? Sounds like a bad idea. Yeah, so Frag Monkey's alluding to the bad idea books that what an interesting way to sell books.
But look at them; they're the #1 publisher now. Oh
well, now so I don't want to be like that, but
no, but it was a thing that Bad Idea did that I liked was they did try things,
it was
whether they
for
worked
sure.
or didn't work. That was a thing that was very hard because it put the decision and the workings on the store rather than the publisher. And I don't know if I necessarily love that because, you had to decide in the beginning how many people you thought would stay on this series so that was difficult. And that is a format I would not like seeing replicated.
Yeah, it was because what was the deal with that? You had to order them all at once, right?
You had to order the same number of #1 as you did #5.
Right.
It had to be the same number across, even if someone read the first issue said, I don't really like it. And then suddenly, that means when issue 2 comes out, that's one less person to buy it and one less person to buy it till at the end, you're stuck with a bunch of #5s and maybe no #1s. Which is not a great place to be in. So that's why some stores, you did a fixed cost at the beginning.
Yeah.
That way it guarantees, maybe they get a little bit of a discount, but that all the copies are accounted for and you're not left with stock that you can't even order a #1 to help someone catch up on the series.
Yeah.
It was maybe a bad idea.
Well, so that's what our store did is we had everybody pay up front. I remember paying for the first year. I said, yeah, give me, here's however much it was. And now I know that I'm locked in for all the Bad Idea books that are coming out. Because that, like you said, I mean, that's less pressure. It's like, it's because of the fact that we had to order the same number for every single issue. That's not how any other publisher works.
Yeah.
You order issue by issue, but Bad Idea was like, no, you have to order everything all at once.
Mm-hmm.
Well, did you have to order it all at the same time? Or so you had to order all issues 1 through 5 all at the same time?
Yeah, you basically locked in your number at the beginning, and then that was your number through
the
release of the series.
Definitely, that was definitely an interesting time. They did the first wave, and I got all those issues. They did the second wave, I got all those, and they had the buttons. And they had like stickers, and then they sold a donut at a convention somewhere. And after a while, I was like, okay, this has been fun, but it's a little bit much now. But they're are they still doing?
They are, but their business plan has shifted quite a bit.
It's a little bit more normal,
traditional.
Now? Yeah, traditional is a better word. Yeah, because we do see Bad Idea books in the solicitations, and we can order those now, but it's one at a time, just like most other publishers. So yeah, that was an interesting time for sure. I mean, it was fun, getting to the store right at the beginning. The first one gets a button. I got a bunch of them myself, and
I do like I do wish more publishers would do stuff like, first person in your store gets a button or they get a special thing. I like that interactivity between the publisher and the comic book stores. I think that's really cool. It can and I think what they hit was just overboard. What does any of this mean? Does it, it got a little crazy.
It was a little too much, games and secrets and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Get the buttons. What do the buttons mean? I don't know. But if you get all of them, you can do this or that. It's like, it was maybe a little bit too, I don't know, too overbearing.
Da Vinci Code.
Right. PDH Bix, how's it going? Great to be back. Great. And listen, let's go. Thanks for being here. But so to get back to Larry's question about if 5 customers want a 1 in 500, then we have to order 500 copies so that we can get 5 copies of the 1 in 100. There was one. Didn't we get one recently? We got 2 different copies of a 1 in 1. There was 2 different covers for a 1 in 100.
Yeah, sometimes it won't be. There's 1 in 25, and then 1 in 50. Sometimes there's like 2 covers that are 1 in 25s.
Yeah.
Individually. So if you order 25, you could order 1 of each of those.
Yeah.
But only 1 of each of those.
Oh, that's right. Because if you order, if there's 2 different 1 to 25s, you don't have to order 50 copies.
Right.
Oh, I get that mixed up. I get that wrong sometimes.
That cover represents 25 copies, not 50 copies. So,
so if 5, but to get 5 1 and 100s, do you still have to order 500 copies, or just 100 copies?
Yeah, you would if it was the same. So if there was 5 different covers that were all 1 in 100 ratios, you would only need to order 100 to get one of each of those. But if 5 people wanted one cover, that one cover was a 1 in 100, you'd have to order 500 of those.
Okay.
Each 100 represents one book.
Okay.
Yeah, it can be confusing.
I was wrong about it. I think I had that wrong in my head then. I thought that everyone, but if you want multiple copies of the same cover, you have to order more.
Yeah, it all represents
that
number.
Okay. Interesting.
You see what I deal with on Mondays?
Yeah.
You see when I'm ordering stuff, how I have my calculator app out, and I'm going through and be like, okay, so if I up this by this, I can do this. Does it make more sense if I up this? That I get this? Do I even want this? Do I push this number a little bit? It's there's a lot of moving parts when it goes to ordering. It's not just, okay, we've got 7 people want this book, I'm going to order 7. There's other stuff.
Oh yeah, that's
because we have online customers. We have the people who come in on that day and say, that one looks interesting. They pick it up. I want to make sure there's enough for that person.
Yeah.
Especially when there's number ones. It's kind of an unproven thing when there's a number 1. So you do have to take risks ordering higher. And
yeah,
I don't know. I think it's fun.
There is I don't do the order. I'm not here, when you do the ordering, but I've seen you do it sometimes. And there's so much more that goes into ordering books every week than I think people realize. I mean, you got to know your stuff. You got to know your customers. It's not just a simple of, 10 people ordered, I'm going to put 10 in here. No, it's like, what book is hot? That's where like what we do kind of comes into play, like knowing what the books are about and what the stories are. And,
not to pat ourselves on the back, but that is what running a successful comic book store is. Unlike a lot of things, I can work at a place, but really not care about the product you sell. You're just selling the product. But for a store that is built on fandom, you need to somewhat understand and be part of that fandom to understand that's a popular writer. That's a popular artist.
Yeah.
This is an interesting idea. This is a character that's returning after a long time. You got to be you got to be a little bit in the pool to know what's going on.
Yeah, you got to know what the books are about and what's coming and that kind of thing. Andy has a degree in variant economics he has to use every month. That's true.
It's the most math I've ever used from school is doing this job.
So Emily has an interesting question. Do you think Paul is gone, or will he become a villain to Mary Jane's Venom? We were just talking about that earlier today when I was in getting my book. So there is a so we saw at the end of All New Venom number 9 that Mary Jane is breaking up with Paul. Now, everybody, including myself, got really excited.
We had a parade.
That's right.
We bought balloons.
Yeah.
We celebrated.
But we need. I want to not get too excited just yet because we've only seen like one page, like one. She says, "I'm breaking up with you," and that was it. So it's like, all right, well, now where is this going? Because for all I know, the very next page, the very first page of the next issue could be Mary Jane saying, "Actually, you know what? Let's give it another chance."
Yeah.
So I don't want to get too excited yet. But there is a cover for. We were talking about this today. There's the cover for. So when Venom number 250, which is on FOC this weekend, it's the return of Null, and we think it's the end of Mary Jane as Venom.
Yeah.
When you look at the cover for Venom number 251 or 252, there's a Venom, but in a very Ben Reilly looking suit. So imagine Ben Reilly's suit from the 90s, but Venomized with the mouth and the tongue and all that stuff.
Not his hoodie version of
right.
Ben Reilly,
the actual Spider-Man.
The actual Spider-Man suit that has it has like a thicker spider logo on it that goes over his arms.
I want to see if I can find that. But well, so we were wondering. There's a cover where he's swinging, and under one arm he has
He has Dylan, and the other arm he has Mary Jane.
So we were like, is Paul going to be the new Venom? We don't know. And there's nothing really to indicate that. We were just wondering and guessing maybe. But I don't know. I mean, we have said before that it would be kind of cool if Paul becomes a villain because we already hate him. And for him to just like make the full maybe this is what turns him into a villain. Maybe he gets so scorned. He's like, I'm really mad now, and I'm gonna be a bad guy because I got dumped.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows? Let me try to find that cover real quick. Was it Venom 252? Wasn't it?
Yeah, 252.
Here's
there it is.
Yeah. Oh, this one. Yeah. How can I? Sorry, guys. Should have had this prepared. Oh, here's a good great
design.
So let me go back over. Sorry, we're operating off one screen and share screen, and we want to share this. So yeah, so that is what that's what the new Venom, at least for now, looks like. We don't really know what the story is behind this.
We do know that he's going to appear in the new Battle World series issue number 3. At least he's on the cover of that. And then this all around Venom number 251, 252 also shows this one. So looks like at least, it's bigger than just a single series thing. Like maybe it's going to spread out a bit, because I didn't know that the Battle World would have anything to do with this.
Right.
Unless it's just a cover, but I don't think so.
Let me try to get. Oh, here's a good look at both of these. Make sure that's shared out. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, there's Bleeding Cool, and their pop-ups block. Oh my gosh. There. Wow. Okay. So yeah, there's the cover. That's one of the. Yeah, that's the cover. No, that's not the cover to.
That's a variant for 252.
Yeah. So anyway, we don't know. I don't know who that is. I don't know why he looks like that instead of just regular black with a white spider. I don't know, but it might be Paul. Yeah. I think we'll know. I think we'll have a better idea when Venom number 250 comes out in October, I think.
Yeah, we just talked about it earlier today in a Flash show.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got that. I think it's interesting. This is 252. I don't know if we've seen the cover for 251.
I don't think so.
So it makes me think that something is going to shift in 250. I think is Carlos Gomez off art after?
I'm not sure. I hope not.
I want to say there's a direction shift, but I don't know. Is it the creator level or is it at the character level? But there is going to be a shift from 250 forward.
Yeah.
And that's why, we do think maybe Mary Jane is not going to be Venom anymore. Which, I mean, if she's not, I would say that was a good run.
It was fun.
It was way better than expected.
It's one of those like Peter Parker being a billionaire from Dan Slott's run, where I don't want this to be the status quo forever, but it's fun while it lasts. I don't want it to last forever, but it's going to last for a year. All right. It was fun while it lasted, but now I'm ready to get back to normalcy. But
that will be
a fun little idea.
What is that technically issue 10 of?
Well, the next All New Venom is going to end with number 10.
Right.
And then 250 comes out after that.
Right. So if we say, okay, it's 10 issues, I feel good recommending those 10 issues to people.
Yeah.
Be like, yeah, that's going to be like 2 volumes.
Yep.
Go read that. It's a lot of fun. The art's great.
Yeah.
I like seeing stuff like that is, you can package it up and recommend it to somebody.
Oh,
and I think
sure.
that series has been that.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so here is a good question about how do you think the Batman blind bags will do? So, everybody's jumping on the blind bag craze now that Battle Beast had a successful one. We did a special video unboxing the Post Malone Big Rig blind box.
Check that out if you want to watch a real fun video.
Which was definitely interesting for sure. The Batman blind bags, I think what made the Battle Beast blind bag so special is that they were regular price.
Yep.
And you had no idea what you were going to get. Now, the Batman blind bags, you also don't know what you're going to get. You know that you are going to get a foil version of one of the other non-foil covers. And the only way you can get a foil cover is to get a blind bag. However, it's $10 instead of regular price.
Yeah.
So, but on the flip side of that too, a lot of times if there's a regular and a foil cover, the foil covers are more expensive anyway. So it almost kind of doesn't matter. But I'm willing to take a risk on a $4 blind bag. I'm not willing to take such a risk on a $10 blind bag.
Yeah.
So I think for me, like I'm just gonna. I think I ended up just ordering the regular A cover because there were some other great covers, but what really sold me on the regular A cover was the corner box art.
Yeah.
I love corner box art, and the A cover was the only one that it was on. So I don't know. I mean, do you know how many blind bags were ordered? Do you remember how many were pre-ordered?
I do. I don't remember the exact number. It was a good amount,
Was it decent? Yeah.
And I think in general people like the surprise. I do think that the Battle Beast one had a long lead up to. For one, like this is a new book set in the Invincible universe. You already had a lot of hype behind that.
Yeah.
So it was, Batman's big, but we're literally going to have 2 Batman series running at the same time that are just regular Batman.
That's going to be weird. It's going to be so weird.
And there was the mystery of some other things hidden within the blind bags, which we now know were the Marvel Team Up issue.
Yeah.
They were Battle Beast issue number 2, and they were Invincible number 19, or was it 7? It's 19.
Yeah,
it's the first appearance of Battle Beast. We knew, the general public didn't know what was going to be the surprise ones, but there was that idea and the excitement of day one that you might get one of these.
Right.
All of that with the same price point of the regular A cover. So you say, well, I'm going to get this book anyway. Why not roll the dice and pay the same amount and get a different cover? Incentivize people to get a regular A cover and get a blind bag, get multiple blind bags. So I think the Batman one's cool, but I think it's a little less special feeling. If you said like hidden in there, you could get a super special edition that's as a reprint of Detective Comics.
Yeah, or you might get issue number 2 or something.
Yeah, something that is a little bit. It's not just a cover. Something that could be different on the inside. Yeah. I think it's a good idea, but I don't think it's as risky, and I don't think it's as fun and over the top as the Battle Beast one.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not willing to take the risk. I ordered 10 copies of the Battle Beast, and I didn't order any of the Batman. So yeah, I mean,
I like foil covers for the most part, but do I get them? Not usually.
Right. Unless they're just like
blow you away when you see them. And for a lot of the art on these, like I really like the J. Scott Campbell. Sometimes I'm like, the foil might not make it look as good. Sometimes foil kind of makes it hard to really see the image.
Well, and then there's foil or spot foil, and now spot foil covers are something different. Like they're extra nice, but
and DC's just started doing those with Superman, which they look awesome.
So. I did order the spot foil for number 29 that's coming out
with the gravestone. If they were all that, I would be a little bit more inclined. But just a straight up foil, it's cool. Some people love them, some people don't care. Once again, you don't have to buy them. You can get the A cover and just have the story there. So I think they'll do well. I don't think they'll be as big of a deal as Battle Beast.
Yeah, I agree. And then Easy Reader has a good question here. How have the tariffs wait, sorry, hold on, let me click this one. have the tariffs affected ordering supplies like bags and boards? I mean, I know they're going up in price.
They have gone up in price. That's a hard thing. But it is what it is. We
I don't know if that's from tariffs though.
No, there's other reasons why supplies goes up, especially during the pandemic. It was like the prices of bags and boards soared. Mm-hmm. It has affected them, unfortunately. But also prices of comic supplies and comics have been going up.
Yeah, papers, like everything's up. So I mean, everything that it takes to make comic books has increased.
Yeah.
I have Ultimate Spider-Man Incursion #1 foil variant with Miles fighting Spot. Does that count as a Spot foil?
I believe it does.
I think so. I think that is the
I think that is actually the only real Spot foil cover.
That's amazing. Yeah, so Spot foil, if you don't know, Spot foils are, you have your foil covers where the whole thing is foil, and then Spot foil is just where certain elements on the cover are foil against the, the flat like comic image. And those ones I really like because the foil really like pops out. Like it's really, oh wait, I still have this up too. My bad. The foil really stands out against the just the regular comic art. And some of them, like Marvel does a ton of them, and they've all looked great. DC has just started doing, like you said, and those look good too. So anytime there's a Spot foil, and especially if it's a book that I'm already buying anyway, I probably will splurge for the Spot foil.
I would love to know, I wish we could like put up a poll or something, but I would love to know what people's variant buying habits are.
Right.
Do you look at the covers? I think most people probably look at covers and say the A cover's fine, or, oh, I like this cover, and they go back and forth.
Yeah.
Is there a book that you buy every, B cover for? Do you never buy variants? Does it depend? Do you buy incentives? Is it rare? I think it's really interesting because I know my own habits of buying them. It usually is based on, if I see it. DC's a little bit different. DC's $1 more.
Well,
I have to like that cover $1 more to get it. Marvel, I'm pretty like loosey-goosey. If I like this cover more, I'm going to get that one.
With Marvel, since they're the same, because I don't do incentives at all, but with regular variants, I just get whatever cover. If it's Marvel, if it's the same price, I just get whichever cover I like the best. It doesn't have to be,
Yeah, so let us know what you are, because that also helps me in my ordering to know kind of what people's habits are.
PH Bricks wants to know, are there any comics coming out in the next few months we haven't heard about that you're looking forward to? I don't know. We haven't heard of anything that you guys haven't heard of, but we were just looking earlier. Today they announced a new Doctor Strange #1 that's coming, I want to say in December, where he is now going to be Sorcerer Supreme of Asgard, which kind of like picks up from what he's doing right now. So that's going to be really cool. There's a new Daredevil Punisher miniseries coming out.
A lot of the stuff is like all of the DCKO stuff, but everyone's heard of that.
Right.
I don't know. We haven't been on any retailer calls recently that have announced stuff. Skinbreaker is one that I think people know about, but aren't talking about a ton.
Yeah.
But we've read the first issue and it is awesome. And I think once that comes out, people are going to be really excited about it. It is not tied with, it's not an Energon universe thing. It's not tied with Invincible. It's not tied in with any of that. It is a new universe or new world for Robert Kirkman. And we don't get those as often anymore. And I'm very excited about people checking that out because the art by David Finch is incredible.
Yeah.
It very much feels like a World of Warcraft. Like if you played on the Horde side, kind of what goes on with the orcs.
They kind of do remind me of orcs, but they're not big and beefy. They're just more like, like regular size, and they're mostly like orange instead of green. But they do kind of feel like
they're kind of tribal, but they're advanced in all the ways other than they're kind of tribal and they're very ritualistic.
Yeah, it's definitely a fantasy book for sure. But brand new thing from Robert Kirkman, David Finch. Mm-hmm. It's on FOC this weekend. So yeah, Skinbreakers was definitely one to check out. Like and the story we were talking about it's very simple, but in a good way. Yeah. Like it's not like, oh, it's a dumbed down. No, it's just like there's just not a lot of moving parts. It's just very easy to digest, and it's done really well. Yeah, on TikTok says I want to get into comic books, mostly DC. I don't want to feel too lost. So for a brand new DC reader, I would recommend any of the compact comics. Like just go to a comic shop and look and see what they have, and any of the compact comics, whichever one looks great to you, like $10 and you get like a great, a really awesome story. If you want to get your feet wet with DC, I mean,
and if you're looking for a new ongoing, like Batman's about to have the new #1, jump in with Batman #1. It's a great new reader friendly book. Issue #1 focuses on Batman a lot. Issue #2 focuses on Robin, and it feels like a really great 1-2, setting up the Batman for however long this run's going to be, and it is great. The art's great, so that's awesome.
Yeah, that Batman #1 comes out on September 3rd. And yeah, that would be a great place to jump in on DC with. Yeah, for sure. All right, guys, I think we're going to wrap it up here. It's about time for the store to close. Andy's got to go out and make sure all the registers are still there. He's got to count the registers, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. That's it. But yeah, thank you guys for hanging out with us. We will be back doing this show 2 weeks from now. So what is that? The 27th. Just talking about more comic stuff. There hasn't been a lot of comic book news lately, big major news. So hopefully we'll learn some more. There's been announcements about a new series here and there, but there just hasn't been a lot of new stuff lately. You know, I think we're kind of in that lull because October is going to be huge with Age of Revelation, DCKO, leading up to Ultimate Endgame. Mm-hmm. So the fall is going to be huge. So I think we're sort of in that quiet period, the calm before the storm, basically, because in a couple months it's going to be crazy. But yeah, we will be back on two Wednesdays from now. You'll see us again on Friday when we post our next Comics from the Future video. Be sure to like and subscribe on YouTube or any other of the platforms you're watching on. Follow us there. InfinityFlux.net is our website where you can order till your heart's content, whether you're local or anywhere else in the country. But yeah, thanks for hanging out with us, and we will see you guys again real soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.